It's a weird thing to be having your first baby in the middle of a PhD program in human sexuality, right? I was really shaken by how little I had understood about it, how invisible it was to my field at large. Then I had my baby, and it was just a profoundly transformative moment when I had my firstborn, which I think everyone in this space gets that, right? We all know like your first birth changes you, every birth changes you. When she was born, at that moment, I experienced an absolutely just indescribable psychophysical spiritual moment that absolutely rocked me. And of course, as a scholar, I came out of that moment being like, what was that? I've never heard anything about this. Like, I had heard like that because I had read your book in pregnancy, right? About the capacity for contractions or for like moving through the labor process to feel good in different ways for different people. So I wasn't completely shut off to that idea, but this was just like if my ordinary sexual orgasm is like a cup of water, like I was in the bottom of the ocean. It was a completely different magnitude and quality of experience. And so I got very curious about this and dove into the literature. Like, who is anybody else thinking about, talking about, studying what that was? And I found very little in the literature, surprisingly, not that surprisingly. So that was the impetus to do this work and to do this study. So even when I tell people like about the birth pleasure study, there's already connotations and interpretations that sour that term, right? It's so I think we all have to do the internal work to really look at and reclaim what it means to be alive and thriving should feel good. And there need be no shame about caring about feeling good, right? Like so healing our own sort of cultural narratives wherever they happen to be, I think, and releasing any kind of shame or weird like resistance we have to feeling good is really sort of the first process. And so many of my interview participants experienced very hard or traumatic births for their first birth or second birth, and then slowly found their way toward that understanding